Hello, everybody. We are live. I'm adjusting my camera. Make sure all the bits of my material are in the right place. Hello, welcome to Live with Georgia. It is Saturday night, and it is the first Saturday night where we return to the regular show. Didn't we have a fantastic time last week? I had such a great time with Angela, and I hope you enjoyed yourself too. Angela Bixby was on with me, and we were giving free readings, and I'm hoping to have some guests on and kind of repeat the same experience. I had such a great time, and so maybe a couple more times in the ensuing months, maybe once a month or once every 6 weeks, I might be able to bring on a guest and we could have like a free reading show. Fun, right? Hi, everyone. Let me know that you're here. If you want to pay for a reading, it is $10. That goes to either my PayPal or my website, georgiamarantis.com. Go into the shop and look for the $10 live Saturday night reading show ticket, and that will get you. And just let me know that you've paid. So this is kind of an honor system. I have no way of checking that you've actually paid until after the fact. And, you know, I really believe that if you don't, you know, if you make the intention to pay and you don't pay, then pay it forward, you know, at least pay it forward so that somebody else that you consider or needs the money somewhere down the line actually gets that $10. So welcome. Hi, everyone. Say hi. I'd love to know you're here. I see 3 or 4 people are here. We're using the tarot cards. We're back to tarot. We have been studying the major arcana. We began with the Fool back in June of last year, and my plan is to continue all the way up to June of this year. So hopefully by that stage, we will have had all of the major arcana put in with some extra fun shows in between. So let me know if you want to. I thought I could also maybe take some questions people had about any of the cards. You know, if you wanted to study a particular card, or there's a card that trips you up or somehow doesn't. Shelley, hello, welcome. How are you? Oh, there we go. I think I just found the right corner. Good. How's it going? Shelley Marlowe is a natural healer, author, teacher. Shelley, the list of gifts that you've come into this lifetime with are so many and varied. I wish you good luck with your book this year. Oh, the cards are flying out, Shelley. Look at this. Some exciting cards. I don't know if these cards have fallen out for you or for me, but it's the Knight of Swords who's rushing forward with a great idea, and the Six of Swords, which, you know, kind of talk to me like these ideas have been a long time coming, and now they're just kind of flying and with the wind, which is great news. So they kind of fell out as I was shuffling. Oh, I'm really well, Shelley. Thank you so much. Ali's here. Hi, Ali. And you just made a donation for a question? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, type in your question and I will answer it. And in the meanwhile, you know, we all have our own practice on how we clear the cards and, you know, between each reading. And I haven't used the cards in such a long time. They've been lying around on my desk in the living room. So what I like to do is I do shuffle them, but then I also just place them face up in little piles. And I like to think that just clears them. And so I'm going to do that now as you type your question. So Ali, let me know what your question is by typing it in. Specific questions yield specific answers, but I'm happy to do general questions. I have over the shows, I've shown people how to do general questions with the tarot. I usually do a past, present, future, or I do the central 5-card spread in the Celtic cross. So I just place the cross and the one on top of the first position. I don't use what's it called? The significator. And really for a very long, if I was to do a 1-hour reading or a half an hour reading, I would use the Celtic cross and then I might use a significator. But I can't, in recent years, I really haven't. I used to when I first started reading because I wanted to understand how to read with the Celtic cross, right? And then once I got really fluid in just kind of question answer style readings, I dropped the Celtic Cross. But the Celtic Cross is really good at getting you started in, the central part of that cross where you do conscious and unconscious, the question and the challenge, the past, the present and the future. And it's literally that internal, those 5 cards in the middle of the Celtic Cross, there are like 3 or 4 different spreads in there combined into one that you end up using for the rest of your sort of tarot career. They're really central. Ali, yes, thank you so much. I've just been talking and not looking. What are Alex's feelings toward me? Thank you. Okay, let's have a look. I'm still shuffling here, shuffling and waffling. We're going to choose our charity tonight. So 30% of your $10, Ali, goes to a charity of our collective choice. So what I forgot to do last week was to get everybody to give me a charity of their choice, but we'll do that tonight. So if you have a charity close to your heart, let me know. All right, I'm now going to give you all my attention, Ali. So here we go. Nice, quiet February. Right? Does everyone feel the quietness? There's really no drama in the news unless I'm missing it all. I'm quite grateful to miss it all. But it's really quite lovely that there isn't really that much if we don't want to. And we're not being pressed by our sort of 3D world experience. We don't have to worry about anything so immediate right now. Or maybe that's just what's happening in my world and it feels like that. But if I can spread some of that calm into the collective, I'll do that with these thoughts. Daisy, hello, welcome. I have been wanting to talk to you. Daisy how long did you spend at Stradbroke Island, Daisy? I was looking at your photos and, oh, my Lord, I wish I was there with you. Beautiful dolphins. Okay, Ali, here it is. Your question is, what are Alex's feelings toward you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, this is like a classic relationship spread that I use. I'm going to pick a card for you and Alex, which will represent both of you in the relationship, and then I'll pick a card specific for Alex's feelings toward you. Okay, and I feel that will give us a nice, will give us enough detail in there for us to work on. So this is Alex, and this is Ali. Alex's feelings toward you, and your feelings toward Alex. So the card that I got for Alex is the 9 of Cups. So this person is feeling pretty happy with where they're at. I don't know if Alex is a male or female, but either way, it doesn't matter because this card is simply indicating that this person is just happy where they're at. So it's a very still card. The arms are crossed. That's the one thing that I'm kind of focusing on. And I'm thinking, well, the legs are open, which is great. So overall, in this relationship or in this connection between you and Alex, I see that this person is happy where they're at. You, on the other hand, I see you kind of wanting to take it to the next level because the Hierophant is the card that talks about getting to the next level. Why do I say that? Because there are 2 keys at the priest's feet, at the Hierophant's feet. Can you see those? Those 2 keys, I'm trying to get the camera, there it is. Those 2 keys at the bottom that are crossed kind of indicate that these monks that have gone to the high priest are sort of wanting to gain more information from the high priest. So I feel that this is you. I feel that you are kind of at this connection between you and Alex. So you're kind of wanting more. And Alex is kind of sitting, quite happily with where he or she is at. Now, when we asked specifically what are Alex's feelings towards you, right? What we get is this is Alex's feelings toward you, and these are your feelings toward Alex. So the 2 are in a contrast, and because they're major arcana And because they're major arcana that we've actually studied on the show, right? We studied the Lovers very early on, and the Hangman kind of, a little bit toward the end of the year, maybe in November. And so let's talk about Alex's Hangman, right? So the Hangman tells me that how he feels about you is suspended, right? So that there's been a little bit of a let go. But it's not that there is no hope. It's just that this person is, here they are sitting still, right, with their arms crossed, and here they are suspended. So their feelings have suspended. So there's been kind of either a stop in the flow or a lull in the connection or the relationship, or certainly in terms of his or her feelings toward you, right? Now we've got you here, which is where you want to take it to the next level, right? And where we have you looking at the Lovers, which is like a relationship. So this is like the hope for the relationship, or looking and thinking about the relationship. This is like a twin soul. This card often indicates, hey, I feel these are your feelings. I feel like this is we're experiencing a deep connection. So that's what I'm going to say up to now. So you asked me, what are Alex's feelings toward you? This is what I'm getting from the tarot. Do you want to push on with another question, Ali? Because I think at the moment you are you're the only one that's paid for a reading. So let's dig a little deeper. What would be the next step? So Ali says yes. So shall we ask, let's say that there's another question. I know we've said sort of one question for $10, but given that we have the time, we can ask a follow-on. If you were here in front of me, I'd kind of get the question from you pretty quickly. But my sort of idea of a next question is, well, what can I do? What can I do? How do I be with this that's come up? So he's kind of, or he or she, is basically, suspended, or, there's a lull, right? And you are looking at, the connection and hoping for more, right? So what should you do? This is a card now for you, Ali. This is an interesting card because it's often indicates, an ending, or at least a fullness, and a sort of big appreciation for the abundance in your life. So maybe this is a key. I don't know if you know Abraham Hicks, but I do talk a lot about Abraham Hicks and Derek O'Neill on the show. There's a lot of spiritual teachers that help us with, just our daily lives. And I mention these two a lot, but there are more that I do talk about. So the main message from this card, I feel, in terms of, offering a kind of a table of advice for what to do in the meantime, right, is to concentrate on the abundance in your life. So this is looking at family. This is looking at career. This is looking at the name that you've made for yourself. This is looking at all of the sort of good things that you've come. So appreciating yourself, and appreciating yourself in your own surroundings, appreciating even your past relationships, and appreciating the good things in those relationships, and even appreciating the good in this relationship or potential relationship, where you're not looking at, well, I don't know what this person's feelings are toward me, so I'm just going to project the worst. Don't do that. So this card is suggesting, look at all the goodness. So, look at what it is that you like about relating, or look at the good feelings that have been there. So by concentrating and allowing yourself to feel a bit more joyful, a bit more abundant, just kind of a little bit, and you're not projecting any worry into the atmosphere or into the universe, then what you'll find is that you'll relax, and there won't be this question about, what are these feelings, and you may actually focus on something else. I mean, I know it's hard if you're particularly focused on this one person. So I'm getting an Ace of Swords. I'm kind of getting, this is a good idea. I do see this as an opportunity for you coming up pretty soon. Let me just get a feel for this card. I like to sometimes put the card in my hands, like sandwich it like this, and I use my inner senses to kind of feel the card. And I also put my left hand on top. This is something that is just habit, because I say this now because as I put the cards down, I put my right hand on top, and I thought, oh, that doesn't feel right. I receive with my left and I give out with my right. So it feels only right to receive, by placing my left hand on top of the card. So here we go. Let's have a look at this card. So this card is the Ace of Swords. So an ace is always good news, Ali. Whether you are, thinking of doing something, or, you're hoping for something new to come into your life, the ace, or you're wondering whether or not to do something, yes or no, the ace will always say, yes, this is a new opportunity, a new opening, new growth. It's a great thought, a great idea is coming your way. All of these, it's definitely a positive energy, and it's coming from spirit, right? So let's have a look at it a little deeper. So what I'm being shown is that you're going to understand the veil will lift. So where you have this question about what are this person's feelings about me, it's going to become pretty clear for you. And I even get maybe within a week or a month. So I got the number 1, which is interesting because this is an ace. So within about a week or 4 weeks, you're going to know very, very clearly exactly how this person feels about you, because, now you're kind of in this space where I don't know, I'm interested in how they feel, but it'll become very, very clear. So I think this is what's relating to this. And also, where one door closes, another one opens, or, if this door that has been closed, it opens, because what we've got is the idea of, hey, I want to take it to the next level. Well, it could either open in a week or a month, or it's going to become very, very clear for you, and you're just going to walk into a whole new door, right, where it has been barren. And when you look at the background on this card, I mean, these mountains look gray, and it looks like a winterscape to me. It doesn't look very inviting. And I think that Pamela Coleman Smith, who created this deck, really did put a lot of symbolism and meaning in the landscapes that she painted in each of the cards. So I often look at the landscape. Is it lush? Is it rich? Is it rugged? Is it jagged? Sometimes she's got people standing on rocks. Sometimes she's got them standing in a beautiful garden. Sometimes she has them standing in, out in nature with these rolling hills. Sometimes they're by a body of water. It's very, very specific and very symbolic. And the symbols, so to me, where things seem barren, because we are in winter, I don't know if you're in the northeast of the country, but it's very barren here. Everything is grey and white with all of the snow. Despite it being barren, I think you can look forward to this opportunity. So I feel like maybe even by 2 months, so that takes us then into April, you're going to be feeling a lot different. It's almost like there'll be a whole new perspective on things for you. It's winter here. It's winter where you are. Yeah, and grey. So this hand of spirit comes through and says, hey, don't worry, there's opportunity coming. At least there'll be a lifting of the veil. You will have more clarity. Linda, hello. Hi. So, Ali, I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you some insight into your question, and I do wish you the best. Thanks for being here. If you are interested in, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I know a lot of people who are here already. Hold on here. Have already subscribed. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll be blurry for a little bit. It's still focused on the card. Here we go. It might be my lighting. I've changed my lighting a little bit. And if it gets very, very bright, see how bright it is? Oh, look at this. I have like a streak of light, like a warrior. Oh, thanks, Ali. Irina, hello. How are you? I love your blank comment. How did you do that? That's really cool. Oh, friends. So Daisy was at Stradbroke Island in Australia, just off the coast of Queensland, right? And there are quite a few islands in Queensland that are favourite holiday spots for Australians. And I saw your photos. There was a magical dolphin playing around in the water. Ali, you want to get a general reading? Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. Please donate again. Are you sending let me know where you're sending the money to, just so I can look out for it. Oh, can you still see me? Good. I'm going to put this here. Good vibes. Oh, Irina, I just saw your comment. Oh, that's great. Okay. So, yeah, Ali, let me know how you're paying so I can just check on my, if you're paying by PayPal or, there we go. Oh, there it is. Thank you so much. I got it. Thank you so much. So sweet. Okay, so in the general reading, Ali, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the central part of the, oh, sure, Linda. Absolutely, you can. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting. And in fact, we don't even know where 30% of the money is going to go to tonight because we haven't. Pamela, hello. Ali, a general love reading. Oh, you bet. So with a general love reading, what I want to do is I want to look at what it is that you are currently manifesting. So I'm going to do a past, present, future. And in that, we're going to look at how you can manifest the one that you want, right? Are you in a relationship at the moment, or are you looking at? So we had this question about Alex, right? How's Alex feeling about you? And we kind of gotten an idea. Karina, hello. Hi, everybody. So good to see you. I'm just shuffling the cards. Ali's getting a general reading, a general relationship reading. I'm glad you made it clear. That's helpful. It's good to be specific, right? Because then every time a card falls down, you read it according to that specificity. Past, present, future. Wow, you got 3 major arcana. I've got to tell you, Ali. Yeah. So, okay. So before you asked me that question, I put 3 down. So since you've asked me that question, because the cards that you got showed me that in the past you've been, and I'm going to show everybody, in the past you've been a woman of the world. You've really sort of looked at kind of growing into the person that you are and becoming who you are in the world. And you've really focused on that. It's like, focused on my career, or focused on my education or my schooling, or my big sort of overall, who am I in this world and who do I want to be in this world, like on your own, right, in terms of relationship. And now you're in the business of manifesting a relationship. So this is a really good card to get because it's very promising, and it means that if you know how to manifest, and honestly, I would Google on YouTube the Abraham Hicks relationship, manifesting a relationship verbiage, because what Esther Hicks does is, as she channels Abraham, she starts giving you suggestions on how to think about positively about how to think and speak to yourself when you're desiring a relationship or desiring anything, really. You could Google that. You could YouTube search Abraham Hicks relationship, Abraham Hicks children, which, I've done, Abraham Hicks babies, Abraham Hicks tarot. I mean, you can literally do that, and there'll be like this string of understanding that comes through, which will give you this extra bit. But the reason I bring that up is because the magician is showing us that in order for us to pull the universal energy down to manifest in the physical that which we want, which is, you want to pull down the energy from the universe to manifest a physical relationship. So you have to become the conduit. You see how he's wearing white and he has the infinity symbol over his head. So you have to connect to your source. You have to come into a space of neutrality and connection with joy, because the energy of source is joy and bliss and openness and a carefreeness and a fearlessness, really. And knowing that the universe will provide you with everything that you want, knowing that if you desire a relationship and you shoot that idea off, that it will come, and that it's just a matter of time, and that if you don't project into that empty space, worry, any negative ideas, sort of concern, like, why isn't it here yet? So if you don't fill that void with what's considered resistance, then it has to come. It has to come. Once you've sent the prayer, the universe has literally built it, whatever it is that you desire, and is waiting to send it to you. And it sends it to you through a vacuum. And the vacuum is, you have to either not be thinking about it, like, for example, people who have these stories of where, like, I'd always wanted to be in a relationship, but then I just stopped thinking about it. And I bumped into this person at the service station, and then bang, we went out on a date, and now we're in a relationship. It was that sense of your energy coming into a space of okayness, right? So that what you're doing is you're vibrating with being here in the moment, right here and now. And being in this here moment, this right here and nowness is how everything can come. Because whatever arrives, we've manifested, right? So, Honey Day, hello. Ali, yes, I know, trying very hard to find myself and be myself, and I feel like it empowers me. Absolutely, it empowers you. This is a great card. This is the empowerment. This is the self-empowerment card in the deck. If you have low self-esteem, you want to pull this card out, and you want to put this card up on your fridge, and you want to look at it every day, because this is a woman who is naked and confident as hell. She has two lightning rods, in one in each hand, and she can manifest anything she wants. She can manifest and demanifest anything she wants. She understands the laws of the universe, and this big wreath is success. So I know you've come into a way of being in your life which has really been a big change in the way that you are in relationship, right? Because we pull this around relationships. And so back to the Magician, which is where you are. Right, Linda Mitley, hello. So the most important part is coming into a place of true resonance with your source, and just being okay with where you are, and coming into a relaxed place around that, right? And then the energy of that which you've told the universe that you desired, this is why people do those vision boards. So on your vision board, you put, okay, this is how I want it to look, and then you put it up somewhere and you stop thinking about it. You can think about it if you want, but what you want to think when you're looking at your vision board is, oh my Lord, I'm just so excited. Every time I look at this vision board, I get excited and I get joyful and I'm really happy, and I just can't wait for that to come. I'm happy. As opposed to, well, why isn't it here? And how come I'm always yearning for it? Or I wish, or looking at others who have it and being jealous of them, or what else do we do in life, right? Where we're creating a negative vibration around it. So always create a positive vibration around your vision board, i.e. your relationship, the one that you want to manifest. So this is the card that I got for the future, which is fascinating. Why would we get death? Well, at the moment, this is what you're manifesting, right? Because we looked at, you're not dying. The death card is not about death. So I don't go there. And really, I've never had a reading where I've predicted anybody's death. I think that kind of prediction comes from God and the person whose life it is that, it's a personal thing between you and God and your maker, the universe. And really, it's nobody else's business. So this is about transformation. So you are going into a period of transformation in relationship. Now we're going to ask, right? Because, okay, so what does transformation mean? What does that look like? What is this new transformed relationship? How am I being? I'm going from being single. Am I going to go to being double? Am I going to go being into the Lover's card, the one that you desire, right? So what does the Death card mean? What are you transforming into? Rebecca, hello. Okay, so this is what you're transforming into. You're basically transforming into, so I feel that what you've done with yourself and all the work that you've done on yourself and all the learning that you've done on yourself, putting yourself into the world, is creating for you this the breaking down of the foundations. Like, you don't want to have a relationship like the ones that you've seen that have failed, right? Either the ones that you have had that have failed, or the people around you that you've seen who have had failed relationships. Maybe your parents, or maybe, someone in the family, or maybe your friends. You're like, I don't want that, right? And what you're going to do, and this is the Ace of Cups, which is an overflowing heart. And what you're going to do, because you're manifesting, you're transforming, right? You're working on yourself so much that you're bringing yourself into a place of overflowing love. You're going to love yourself so much that as you're overflowing in love for yourself, another person turns up who is also overflowing in love, because we attract what we are. And that's the truth. We really do. We attract our mirror. We are vibrational, energetic beings. And in this vibrational, energetic place, we create it. We create that which arrives. So when we're, sitting in a room with screaming people, it's the internal scream that's within me, right? I know that I've created that. So we have to accept that which is in front of us as our creation, but we don't have to dwell on it. Right? So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be overflowing. Yeah. So how do you overflow in self-love? You appreciate. You appreciate yourself. You find things in your environment to appreciate, i.e. things. You find people in your environment to appreciate. That's overflowing love. Love is appreciation. That's beautiful. It's so true. It's so true. And when we get into this, and that's really changing your foundations to the way you're not going to be in your head, you're going to be in your heart, right? So that's I think these are the strongest cards for you. If I can say that, I would put these 3 cards up for you. Actually, I put the Lovers card up. She's great because you're already her, right? That was for the past. You've already manifested that. So I'm going to find the Lovers card. Let's see. I would put these, if you have a pack of tarot cards, or if you don't, you can just download and print these 3 cards off the internet. All these images are freely available. And let's see if I can find the Lovers card. You had them earlier. Now they're hiding from me. The Lovers are hiding. I know they're not. We're going to pull them out. There's a big angel. Forgive me. I hope everybody's good. Get your questions ready. We're going to study the Star card tonight. Isn't that exciting? The Star card. Finally, we get a year of healing. The first card for us to study this year is a beautiful card. We ended off with the Tower last year. Oh, I can't find the Lovers card, but you remember what it looks like, Ali. It's the Adam and Eve scene, right, in the Garden of Eden, with the big, beautiful guardian angel above, kind of, blessing the union. So you want those 3 cards. You want the Lovers card, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups. That's what you want, and that's what you're going to manifest. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. If you put those out and you manifest. Oh, Karina, you are exciting. Thank you. All you say is exciting. I feel excited. I'm excited. I love it when we think and talk about the things that we want to manifest. Well, at some point you have to let go. So once you spend your time thinking well, then it's monitoring that you're not thinking poorly, or that you're just managing your vibration. Can I feel well? Okay, so Linda is next. And Linda, I am shuffling the cards for you. Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much for asking 2 questions. Woohoo! And we're going to find out very soon. Who we're going to give our 30% of our money to. If anybody has a charity that is close to their heart, please put it down. I have one, which we're going to put down. And I'm looking for my little special bag where I put all the names of these charities in. I can't find it. Doesn't matter. We'll make it work. So Linda, I'm going to read Linda's question out. Sangu is having second thoughts about going back to India. Should he go or try to stay, considering the coming immigration reform? Is it unhealthy for him to be here? So I think I'm going to break it down. Should he go or try to stay, right? So that's one thing. Then we need to consider the coming immigration reform. Is it unhealthy for him to be here? Oh, Irina, what a great idea. The Wild Bird Fund. Thank you. And you know what, Irina? I have taken a kestrel, a beautiful kestrel. They look like hawks, but we found one that had fallen out of a nest and couldn't fly, and we took one to the Wild Bird Fund. We also took like a pigeon. We took a sparrow. We've taken so many birds to the Wild Bird Fund. It's an amazing place. So thank you for suggesting that. I'm just going to tap back into your question, Linda. So here we go. Sangu's having second thoughts about going back to India. That's nice. So he should. He has wonderful friends and people here. Should he go or try to stay, considering the coming immigration reform? So I'm going to say that the question is, given the reform, given the coming immigration reform, do we know that it's coming for sure? Because that's not something let's say overall, should he go, should he stay? How about that? What's best for him? Should we make it like that? Right? Is it unhealthy for him to be here? So what we'll do is we'll concentrate on, if he stays, will it be unhealthy? So I'll pull one card for him going, one card for him staying, and will it be unhealthy for him if he stays? Will it be unhealthy for him if he stays? That's a very sort of clear question. So his heart is really here. I mean, look at this. This is if he goes. He'll be upset that he's left, because clearly there's a connection that he has here. So this is him looking at where he is when he's gone, and it's like all the cups have spilt and he's just feeling upset. And, you know, here is India and here is where he's left. And it's like he had so much, you know, there's just these two cups are upright. There is obviously a lot that he has gained being in America, and clearly being with you and being with his friends and being with this wonderful place. Look at the little hill that's here. So there was a lot of abundance in America for Sangu. And let's have a look. So this is if he goes. So I think that he'll have, you know, some regret in terms of going, because he can see what he's had, you know. Now, the other question would be, you know, when you move countries again, and moving is very stressful. Moving in itself is very stressful. So, you know, part of this might be the stress of moving, the stress of leaving loved ones, the stress of leaving, you know, the potential, i.e. the stress of leaving a dream, right? Let's have a look at, well, what will happen over time if he goes, right? Because we just want to know, well, what will happen over time? Will it always be like this, or will there be, and we know, you know, time helps, doesn't it? But let's have a look. What will happen with time? Another card. So, I mean, these are very interesting cards because together they tell a story. And together, I mean, we were doing card combinations in the tarot course I did back in 2018. And it's hard to do a card combinations without a person that you're bouncing your card combinations from. So oh, honey, so in order to get a question, go to my website. Let me see. And it's $10 a question. Let me see if I can get it up for you. So, okay, you can pay by credit card, $10, pay by credit card on my website, or go to PayPal and use my, if that doesn't work, just use my email, georgiamarantos@gmail.com. So back to this card. So if he stays in India, you can see that there's a lot of confusion in his heart, right? Karina, thank you. And you know what, Karina, I think you had actually, we actually do have a I know we don't. I thought we did. But if anybody ever wants to donate a free reading for somebody on the show, please let me know. That's something that people have done. In that case, when you donate $10 for someone else to read, like you pay it forward, I send all of that money to the charity. So that's like 100% guaranteed. If you've been charitable, I don't think that I can be taking any money out of that charity. I send that straight to the charity of our choice. So just so you know that it becomes a 100% donation. Energetically, right? And literally. Okay. So you see that he kind of goes into a bit of emotional confusion when he stays there a little bit. So now we're going to ask the cards, what if he stays? Big overflowing cup. Wow, right? Big overflowing cup. And an opportunity from spirit, right, to be in love. And then I asked the question, as I said that I would, well, will it be bad for him to stay because of the, unhealthy for him to be here? And what I've got here is the Empress. And so I get the feeling that it won't be unhealthy because this card gives off a very positive vibration. It gives off the vibration that even if, he will find a way, that there is a creativity, he can be creative around, if there's anything unhealthy that's coming across his path, he'll creatively be able to maneuver around it. It feels like there's more opportunity here for him to be here with these positive cards. This is staying and this is going, right? Now you're asking a question for someone else. Now his vibration is in your aura because you are friends, right? So it's easy to read his vibration through you. But what about you? These are great cards, but he's not here to hear it, right? You're obviously going to tell him. So let me ask this question another way. Is there any danger for him to stay? And I get another card that says, well, he'll be able to balance it out. So whatever difficulty he comes across, right, and here it's about money. This is what it feels like because we got a money card. This is a specific power struggle money card. But it's actually not, it's not tragic. We don't have any of the sort of very, very difficult cards. He's going to find a way to make money. And I don't think it's going to be a huge struggle, even though this, traditionally can mean a power struggle. I don't see that there's a lot of struggle. I see here, ask and you shall receive. So it doesn't appear that there's any danger, or serious, unhealth. If you can be more specific, maybe we can say, oh, okay, is it related to immigration? Is it related to, this is what I get for immigration. Right. So it appears that even with immigration, that there is some gifting happening. There's an energy around that, which is a blessing. And we really don't know, when we put our desire out to the universe, we don't know how the universe conspires to make it happen. Because if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. If it's not meant to be, it will never happen. So we can at least rely on the fact that at some point it becomes real and true, that it's happening, it's manifesting, or it's not manifesting. And at that point, you just let it go, right? Linda Dross says, I feel like the separation from his family is too much now and resorting to unhealthy behaviors to manage his stress. So that's now. So we were looking at projecting into being at home because these are the cards for him leaving, right? And the unhealthy that you were relating to, you've now sort of given us more detail where you're saying, if he stays, here is the overflowing cup. So overflowing cup can be tears. It's a broken heart sometimes, as well as a heart that's been opened by love. So in the circumstances, where I get, and it could very well be this. Now that you've said that, I'm like, wow, well, he might just be missing his mom if he stays. But when we were looking at, is it unhealthy? It's not going to be unhealthy to his detriment. you know, because is it going to be so bad that something bad will happen to him? I just didn't get that. I mean, he just, you know, the worst would be this, you know, the heartbreak. But has anyone ever died from a broken heart? I suppose some people have, but I don't think that's going to be him. It just doesn't look, it looks like he can handle it, you see? Let's have a look a little further. Let's tell a story. So if we were to pull a few cards that go one into the other, we tell a story. So I'm going to pick 3 cards and I'm going to shuffle them all again. And let's see if we tell a story for Sangu as he stays or as he goes. Right? Oh, and Karina, thank you. Let me know your question. Thanks for dropping by, honey. Remember to click like and subscribe. Thank you so much. If you can, like the video, and then it kind of goes up in the echelons of the, you know, people seeing it and new people coming in. That'd be awesome. So now what I've done is I've shuffled the cards, Linda, and I'm going to pull 3 cards for him. Laurie, hello. Karina's got a general. Wonderful. I'll do 3 cards, Karina. So I'm going to do 3 for him staying. 3, 2, 1. 3 for him going. 1, 2, 3. So he's got 2 2s. You know, it's a little bit damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, his cards for staying and going, telling a story. You know, when I tell a story, they're kind of the same. You know, if he stays, you know, he's going to live his life like that. If he goes, he's going to live his life like that. It's almost like either way he's writing his life story, but neither is worse than the other. You know, he has something here that he loves to do. So this is staying and this is going. And you can see going has big major arcana in it, the Star and the Lovers, right? And the Lovers can be choices. And you see here is the number 2 and here is the number 2 and there is the number 2. So if he stays, he has choices. If he goes, he has choices. So the choices if he stays, you know, the choices if he stays is about money, really. Feels like it's about money and maybe relationship with this wonderful, abundant woman. And the choices that he has if he goes is, let's have a look at that. The choices he has when he goes. I feel like there's not much clarity that I've given you around this reading. Is one better than the other? I don't think so. See here, why don't we ask the question, you know, will he actually go? Or let's have a look. This is interesting. Will he go? I get this feels like a no to me, right? Anyone else? Amy, hello. Going looks better. So yeah, in that comparison, going looked better. But the fact that we got this card for him going, I'm like, okay, is he going? This card looks like a no to me. So I see this huge, I'm tapping into the ambivalence. And I feel like in 1 month, you know, there's going to be a lot of heat around this. Like he's going to have to go or something, or else, you know, he's going to have to make the decision. There's going to be a build-up. The Star, the Lover, and the 10 of Cups. Yeah, right. Because they're kind of moving forward. So Linda's saying the Star, the Lovers, and the 10 of Cups look better than the cards for staying. And yes, they do, because they're major arcana cards, and the Star is a healing card and sort of taking your time to kind of measure up your emotions. And yes, you're going to miss all the things that you've had being here in this country, but when you're over there, you're going to be able to deal with it. He has a plane ticket in March. Yeah, so this is interesting. This is very interesting. Is he going to be undecided all the way? You know, he's young and undecided. Let's have a look. I'm going to tap into this card. We're doing the sandwich, put my left hand on top. See what I get. So, I do see him traveling. I see him doing an arc. Now, I'm not sure if this arc brings him back at any point, but I see him sort of moving in an arc in this aeroplane. So it does look like he boards the plane. That's interesting. There just might be a little bit of drama for him, and maybe this is his own drama in himself, because it's a very dramatic card, right? Why would it give me that sense of no? If I'm looking at a question and I'm saying, well, is it a yes or a no? This looks like a no. He doesn't want to go. It's almost like he doesn't want to go right up until the end. And he's just pushing himself out the door. But it is very dramatic. And the universe kind of comes in and makes a decision for him. It's a little bit out of his hands. This is him. This is this young guy, this guy that is kind of acting like everything's okay, but really the waves in the background are kind of wavy, and you can see that there's a little bit of instability. But he's going to say, oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing happening. Meanwhile, there's a big elephant in the room. Oh, Linda, I hope that helps. So I think all I've done is give back to you what you've given to me, but I do feel that's interesting that you're going to discuss tonight. Let's have a look if we can pull just one more card. So maybe Karina, I'm just going to pull one more card here for Linda. So what we want is one more card with Spirit coming through, giving us some advice. How does that feel? Oh, Shelley, absolutely. Thank you so much. For me, for one, to pay forward. So thank you so much, Shelley, for your donation. I will give that $20 to the charity that we choose tonight. And is that what you mean, Shelley? I just want to be clear. And then $20 would be that two people at some point on the show, either tonight or next week, would benefit from your donation. So one person would be able to get a free reading on the basis of your donation, plus another person. Is that what you're meaning, Shelley? Because I've said a few things tonight. I just want to be clear with the money that you've sent in. And Karina, I'm almost there with you. I have not forgotten you. I just want to give Linda this one overall message from Spirit. So here we go. Judgment card. Okay, what's happening in this card is that there's a big guardian angel. It's one of the archangels, and it's the same one that's in the Lovers card, actually. So what's happening here in this connection with Sangu is that it's being guided. And I think you need to trust that this guidance is there, and that what's meant to be is meant to be, like what's going to happen is going to happen. And in some ways, he's younger than you. See, if I look at this as like a little family, here's a mother, a father, and a child. And there's a sense that, there's a younger one here who's looking for guidance and salvation. Can you save me? There's been so much that's good here, and I really don't want to do this big adult step, but I'm going to do it, or I don't know if I'm going to do it. I really don't know. And so there's a holding space that's happening here. And I think you need to be rest assured that Spirit has got the reins, right? And that there really isn't anything that you need to do outside of being a loving, supporting friend, right? Oh, Shelley said, one question for me, one for the other person. Thank you for making that clear. That's perfect. And thank you so much for donating. Does that make sense, Linda? I really hope that does. I know that we as healers and energy healing practitioners, we sometimes like to offer, so maybe he'd benefit from an energy healing or a lifting up of the heavy emotions. That's what I'm seeing, either like a prima agni or a rising star, but something like that, where once the emotions are lifted, the head is clear. All right. So, Karina, you are going to get your general reading right now. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, friends, for coming in tonight. My website's georgiamarantis.com. I'm open for readings. The readings go much like this, directed by you. You ask the questions. We kind of map it all out. We say, okay, where it is that you want to go. What do you want to manifest? Let's see how it's manifesting right now. Is there anything you need to change to in order for this to that which you wish for to manifest? Karina. Past, present, future. So, Karina, I got the past being an ending of sorts. Now, because I know a little bit of you, there has been an ending of sorts, right, in recent times. But let's have a look at the present. What I've got you in the present is you are working hard. How many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7 on the plate and 8. And so I see you working hard at the moment. To me, these look like chakras, and I feel you're working hard on your spiritual body. That's what these feel like, because these are the stars. And remember, these stars, which are the pentagon, are the 5 elements: the air, water, fire, earth, and ether. So the 5 chakras, the bottom 5 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, and the throat chakra are the ones that promote wellness and well-being. And then these other 2 chakras, the third eye and the crown, as we know, are the ones for the high spiritual work. But you're working on all of them, right? Because they're all there. So keep doing the good work. I see you working hard, and I see you loving the work that you do. Look at the concentration with which this person is working. Isn't it wonderful? You see how much love this person has for what they're doing? And this is self-love, Karina. This is self-love. Do you remember when you were young and in sort of school, maybe you were like 5 or 6, and they used to put those painting. Do you remember? Did this used to happen in your school? It used to happen in our school, and we used to have to put those little aprons on. And they would put the aprons on, and then we'd start doing things, and we'd be messy, but we'd have our little aprons, and it felt good because we were being protected. I think you can give yourself permission to make mistakes, and it's all right. It doesn't matter. You can't do anything wrong is the message from Spirit. And you don't need to worry. So you don't need to worry if you're working on this part or this system that it's going to muck up any other system. Just know that if you follow the guidelines as they were set by your teacher and the work that you're doing, you already know them. There's nothing that you haven't been told, that you're just doing good, steady work, and that it's additive. So what I'm getting, see how one adds on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. It's like we're taking a step up the ladder. And that even though you take one step and you're like, well, I don't notice anything, nothing has changed. You take another step, well, nothing has really changed, but somehow I feel different. You take another step and you're stepping up. And as you step, you won't really know until a lot of time has passed. And I think that's what happens with spiritual work. You kind of have to look back many years later, or I shouldn't really say that because I don't know. Everybody's path is different. Sometimes it's many months later. And you see where you've come. You see how far you've come years later or months later. And that's what you're doing at the moment, right? Here we go. And Laurie, thank you so much. You will be our last person that we get a reading. This is wonderful. And Shelley, we may have the person that gets your donation. If you don't mind, I'd love to do it next week because I really want to review the star card before the end of the night. And if we review it and we still have time, then we'll just do it then. So this is your future card, Karina. What I love about this card is that it's plush. Can you see the landscape? And this is where earlier I was talking about how Pamela Coleman Smith really puts a lot of thought and attention into her landscapes. Well, she has done here. Look at this landscape, completely different to the landscape of the Ace of, what was it, Swords, or I think it was, right? We've got these beautiful mountains in the far background. We've got beautiful, lush green trees and green grass and the gardens. And clearly this person is on a very high sort of house, maybe a castle, and they're looking out into the world, which they hold in their hands, and you have the world in your hands. So I do see you thinking about travel and potentially even traveling, but also taking this spiritual work that you're doing and the way that you're doing, you're looking at how do you put it out there. And actually this is, maybe even, I think this is what you're doing in the next 2 years. It's a bit like, I feel this card is already happening now, and it is a number 2. And I know normally the 2 of Wands is a very quick card, and of course it is. But I think whatever you're doing in the next couple of years is very, it's crucial to you. It's crucial to your journey. It's essential to you and how you put yourself out in the world. And do you see how one wand is stuck to the castle and the other is standing on top of the castle there? Well, that means that everything that you're grounding and sort of holding and do all the work that you're doing is going to go on the journey with you into the world as you look at how you're putting yourself out in the world. And when you go traveling or when you go outside of the castle, let's say when all these restrictions, are lifted and we're able to have groups and connect with others in sort of ways that we used to, but also in new ways, new and interesting ways, that's where you're going to be putting this work into practice. And I think by that stage, you're going to be excellent at what you're doing. You already are, but you're practicing something now. There's something in these 2 years that you're practicing, right? And all you have to do is not worry about it. Don't have any fear. Just know that every step of the way is guided. Every step of the way is guided for you, right? Just like the other day, I was pushing the snooze button on my phone. We are changing the world, Karina. Absolutely, we are. One thought at a time. Every time we redirect our own negativity into positivity, we've just changed the world, right? And we keep doing that over and over and over again. And we take this huge vibration, collective vibration out into the world. We change the world, right? So I was just going to tell a little story, but maybe because of the time I'll stop. But I just wanted to say that we will get these messages from the universe that we're on the right path, or if we're not on the right path or we need to change what we're doing, we will get a message for that too, which is the kind of message that I got from one of my Bhagavad Gita phone apps, which I wrote about on Facebook. It's so funny. You just can't make up the messages that come through. So Karina, thank you so much. Shelley, you're next, and then Laurie, and then we'll talk about the star card. Shelley, do you have a question, Shelley? Can you put your question down? And then Laurie, let me know what your question is, and I'll make sure that I see it. Liz, hello. So I'm going until 7:30 tonight because we have the time. So I've put away the time until 7:30 so we can keep going. Thank you, Karina. All is well in your world, which is fantastic. I do see very, very strong guidance in spirit for you and the connection to your lineages. And so this is for Shelley. Shelley, let me know what your question is. I'll just go up to make sure you haven't already told me. One question for you, one for the other person. So we do have one pay it forward card from Shelley. Thank you. Pay it forward reading. And thank you, everybody, for your donations. So we had 3 charities, right? Whilst Shelley writes down her, we have the Wild Bird Fund. So I'm going to put the wild. Oh, do you want to do the reading next week, Shelley? Do you want to leave it until next week? Oh, Liz says, hello to my heart family. Such a beautiful way to bring in teachings. You are living the teachings. You're bringing the teachings. Every time you speak, Liz, the teachings pour out of you. And I think it is kind of the same with all of us, right? I mean, we've been living, breathing, learning these teachings. So the Wild Bird Fund. And then there was that special place in Goa that Linda Drost mentioned. Linda Drost said the El Shaddai Charitable Trust. El Shaddai. I'll have to find out from the Charitable Trust. I'm going to put one in too. And this is Creakin Wellness Center. It's not a charity. It's actually a business. It's an amazing place in Wexford County in Ireland. And I've been there, and a few people who are here tonight have been there, so can attest to its magic. And the UK and Ireland, in addition, as a part of this, has been in lockdown for like forever, it seems, and they're currently in the middle of like a 4 or 5 month lockdown, and that means that it, as a restaurant / hotel motel, there's nobody coming into the center, and I want to show some support. They have a Friends of Creakin program. And so I'm going to put that one in as my one. So, Linda, this is your El Shaddai. So we've got the Wild Bird Fund, the Trust in Goa, and Creakin Wellness Centre in Ireland, the Friends of Creakin program. And by sending money to Friends of Creakin, we support Creakin Wellness Centre continuing to run and keep its doors open. So that's one. It's not a charity, but it's a place that's very close to my heart, and that one goes in too. Anyone else? Anybody else have a charity that they'd like to suggest we send money to? I still have to get my money together for the Irish wheelchair. I'll tell you what's been tripping me up. What's been tripping me up is we did one day where I had 100% going of the proceeds that night were going to the association, the Irish Wheelchair Association. And what I haven't done is tap into my bank. So I have to sit down because it's like a good 7 weeks that I need to run through, and I just need to do like bookkeeping. And I think I've just been avoiding it. So please forgive me. The Irish Wheelchair Association will get their money that we all donated, you all donated through your paying for readings, and I will post it on Facebook. And I haven't yet, but I will. So it's on my mind. Okay, anybody else? Let's see if anyone else has added anything. The Laura Lynn Foundation. Thanks. Tell us a little about it, Amy. Laura Lynn Foundation. Who's Laura Lynn? And what does the foundation do? How do they help people? I'm so happy because I think the Irish Wheelchair Foundation was one that you told us about. Okay, everybody, here we go. I'm shuffling them up. So Shelley says, any words of wisdom for sending book to agents? Yes, I will get onto that. Right after I pick a charity. Here it is. There it is. The winner is the Wild Bird Fund. Woohoo! So the Wild Bird Fund, which I mentioned before, takes in wild birds that any New Yorker or anywhere, I think they take in from, a lot of different places, and they keep them in their kind of sanctuary on West 88th Street and Columbus Avenue in Manhattan, and they look after these birds, and it's amazing, really, truly amazing. We found a kestrel bird, and I took it to, it had fallen out of its nest, a little baby hawk, and it was so hard to catch, and the superintendent of the building was kind of watching me as I did this because this bird had flown into their building and was trying to take the bird away into, I don't know what he was going to do with the bird, but I was so afraid for the bird's life. I ran in there and threw a box over the bird and took it to the, and the Wild Bird Fund were wonderful. They send you emails about how the bird's doing that you've sent in. So Irina says all the birds get released or go to sanctuaries. Fantastic. Yeah, I hope this little kestrel. And Karina says they're amazing. So we've all had contact with them. Isn't that great? So Shelley has a question, and we are going to enter it now. And Laurie, let me know. Oh, there you are. My question. What is holding me back? Here we go. So keep the star card in your mind, because I want to make sure we get to the star card tonight. The star card feels, it's a very quiet card, which is why it hasn't poked me in the back yet. I want to keep reading for everybody. Here we go. Shelley, any advice, any words of wisdom for sending the book to agents? Here we go. So the Hangman, we had the Hangman a little earlier in a different context, and I feel this is. Let me have a look, because I think this is twofold. I think this is one, letting go, of the fear or any kind of trepidation around sending it off. But also it could be that once it's there with the agents, and what happens after that, I feel this card is covering both of those bases. One, kind of handing it over. Two, once it's there, what they do with it, so to speak. So let's have a look. I'm going to see if Spirit can give me some imagery. I use my inner sight a lot, so I'm often shown images. I feel it's going to be snapped up pretty quickly. So I feel like, I don't think you really need to worry that much. Now that you've made the step, the book is ready to go and you're ready to hand it over, I think you can be rest assured that it's kind of now up to the universe to make sure it lands in the right hands. But I do see it. I kind of felt it was snapped up pretty quickly, and that you won't really have to worry about it, because if anything, this card really does say you don't need to worry. You can just completely surrender to the moment and let go of any ideas. Because why are you letting go of ideas? Because you're upside down. You're being emptied. Your head is being emptied. And in fact, because it's being emptied, it's glowing. And so in that space where you're not worrying anymore, you can just feel the bliss of, this beautiful creation that you are now, allowing to take flight, and I think that that's the beautiful message coming from Spirit around your book. Let's have a look. Oh, I mean, this book is so ready to go, Shelley. This, the Chariot, is another really great card. I mean, there's nothing else that you need to do. You're fully prepared. It's balanced, it's spiritual, it's, the book has everything in it. It has just the right amount of emotional sort of capturing. It's not over emotional. There's structure. I mean, you've just got everything right. I just feel like whoever reads it is going to recognize it's kind of ready to go. Amy says, Laura Lynn for Children's Palliative Care and Disabilities. Thank you so much, Amy, for letting us know. And maybe next time we'll put them in the raffle. So, Shelley, does that kind of ring true for you? I'll pull one more card. Oh, wow. You got 3 major arcana around your book. Now, we already knew these were powerful books, and I think maybe was it a friend or someone else had mentioned, there's like a whole series. But this is the card that just popped up, the High Priestess. I mean, she represents you, but also she represents the book and its own journey and how it's come to do what it's meant to do, that it has a purpose here on earth, and that its job is to be distributed because it has its own Akashic records. It has its own life. You gave birth to it, but it has its own life once it gets going. So these are really beautiful cards for, the journey that your book is now making on its way to agents, but it's outside of your home, right? Let go. Surrender, Dorothy. You can surrender. I think these cards are saying you can surrender easily because the book is ready and it does have its own destiny in life. And you can rest in that knowing that it's meant to be. The book is meant to be. You did everything that you could. You've prepared it the best. I'm just looking at this card. Look at this beautiful yoni, lingam and yoni. It's just, and the wings of the angel that's giving flight to this, beautiful creation. Really, such great cards. I'm excited for you. Please keep us up to date. And I love that. I love that I get to read for you and your beautiful book and your creation. Thank you so much. It's an honor. I really hope that happens quickly. I didn't get a sense of timing, but I certainly saw someone snapping it up nicely, quickly, meaning that someone sees the value in it, soon. Because you already know its value, right? It's a baby close to your heart. So, Laurie. Thank you, Shelley. And thank you also for the donation. And I'll make sure that I mention it next week. Laurie, my question, what is holding me back from going after my true passion? I'm going to do something I haven't done before in answering this question, Laurie. I'm going to put your passion as a card that's going to be flipped over. So I'm not going to see what your passion is. I'm just going to have this thing and then I'm going to have a card that represents you. And then I'm going to have a card in the middle between that thing that is your passion and you, which we will see. We'll have a look at that card. And then we'll have a look at the middle card, that which is preventing you. So this is kind of like a very physical tarot spread, right? So I'm putting things in the middle to represent that's what that is. That's what that is. It's very, very concrete. So this is Laurie. This is your passion. Let's see if I can. This one wants to come out. Okay. And what is preventing you from that? Okay. All right. So this is you. This is you looking at everything that you've done in your life thus far and saying, you know what, there's still more to do. And obviously, because you're asking the question, what's keeping me from my passion, right? You know that there's more for you to do in this world. And when I look at your passion, this card is a card that indicates success. Now, it is also the traditional marriage card. So when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, being in a relationship, is that what your question was about? Were you thinking that when you asked it, what's keeping me from my passion? I didn't go there when you asked the question. I didn't go that, your passion being your having a relationship. Again, I said traditionally this is like the marriage, a traditional marriage card where there's two people who look like they're in a union together, although not standing that close, but there's like dancing, celebration, there's flowers everywhere, there's a bridge that's taking you over. So when you said passion, I felt like you meant your life's passion, your life's purpose. So correct me if I've got it wrong. Okay, so here with your life's passion and your life's purpose is to be successful. You want to feel like, okay, I've arrived in my purpose. I've arrived in my passion and what I'm meant to be doing in my life. So these two cards represent you and your passion and what's in the middle of those two. What's in the middle of these two? What's preventing you? Now, this is an interesting card for anyone who, and I know, Amy, you were in my tarot card workshop, right? And we looked at this card in a really very detailed way. And we looked at it by looking at this card and feeling happy, and looking at this card and feeling kind of angry or sad or being in negative emotion. And what strikes me about this card as an obstacle, because, it is one of the happiest cards of the deck. It is, now we have to read it as an obstacle. So how can you read like a sunny, happy, joyful, blissful card as an obstacle, right? So when we looked at it and we were wondering, what is this card when there's a negative emotion or something attached to it? Well, if you look at the sun for a little while and you look at those eyebrows and you look at this very stern sort of, so when we are now putting it into the context of your question, right? We're saying, so what is the obstacle? Let me just get your exact wording because I think it's really important. I did choose it. So what is holding me back? So it's not an obstacle. What is holding me back? Okay. And what we've got is a sun, right? And the sun can represent spirit, or it can actually represent, super ego. So it's the judge, right? Because these eyes are looking like, So when we think of judge and superego, we think of, well, where am I holding myself back? That's what you're asking. So you're holding yourself back in where you judge yourself too much, right? Where you saying to you, and we all do this. This is not you personal, Laurie. This is all of us, where we say you can't do that because of X, Y, Z, or you're eating. What was I doing just today? Basically, you're eating a bag of chips, and well, how are you going to lose weight if you're eating a bag of chips? I mean, all the sort of stuff that goes through your mind that is self-deprecating, right? And so we all have a storybook of this kind of stuff. So what is holding you back is somewhere, right, is a sense of this superego or these thoughts that are self-judgmental that knock you off your balance. So here is now a baby. We look at this child, right? So normally we'd see this happy child that is, let me see, there it is. Look at this beautiful happy child. And they've got sunflowers in their hair, and there's sunflowers around, and the beautiful horse, and this wonderful big flag, and there's a lot of passion. There's a beautiful feather of Mart, which is the Mart being the Egyptian god, and so much love and joy. And yet, hang on, there's no, this child is bareback riding this horse, and all of their arms and legs are kicked out. Are they stable? They could fall off. So the story that we're telling here as what's holding you back is this sense that these thoughts, these judgmental thoughts, somewhere in your thinking and feeling is this sense that you can't have it, or that that's what's knocking the baby off balance, right? Now, it may not be those exact words, but it's worth your while, Laurie, to dig into your subconscious to find them, to find that program of just a few little thoughts that are holding you back. Why? Because you're a powerful healer and teacher. That's why. You're a power force. You are a direct person that knows what you want. And here you are with the subconscious and this program saying, no, you can't have it. So all you need to do is take one look. Do you need to stay there? Do you need to kind of go over and over? No, you don't. You just take one look. Oh, that's where it is. So I'm going to address that here. Either I rewrite my story. So let's have a look. Let's ask Spirit. Let's ask Spirit. I'm going to pull one card. Oh, and we're going to pull the star out very soon. Talk about that. Talk about the star card. Here we go. So this is for Laurie, and this is the card that says, where are you looking? So, I do see you digging a hole, and I do see you finding it. There is a type of shamanic journeying that I know Sandra Squires does, but you can also find these on Sandra Squires works for Creek and Wellness Retreat, and she's a shaman for many years, and she does a shamanic journey where you can look into, you can retrieve parts of your soul. So like doing a soul retrieval where you sort of unconsciously collect the bits of this, or you can consciously do it, right? You can consciously do it yourself. So you could do a shamanic journey, which would help you find those pieces that are lost and maybe create a whole new program for yourself. Or you could go into, if you were to do a shamanic journey and go into the past to find that root cause of where that came from, and then pluck it out and come into this present moment and understand that your purpose is in this life to be successful and to be doing what it is that you came here to do with all of your amazing gifts, right? That's all you need to do. So can she do it? Yes, she can. And isn't this interesting? So I picked a card, can you do it? Can you do it? And yes, you can. Yes, you can. Right? Because we've got sunflowers. Look at the sunflowers. There are sunflowers in the what's holding you back, and there's sunflowers in the answer, right? And the sunflowers represent, in the spiritualist mediumship, represents going into your psyche and in using your intuition to find what it is. And so this sun, this sternness, you're going to find where it is and you're going to change it. Okay, you're going to reprogram it. Because it's time. See, the Justice card says it's time. It's your karma to collect, your rewards. It's your karma to no longer be under the auspices of this harshness. It's your karma to allow your soul to soar. It's your karma to allow this amazing being that you are to fully express itself in the world. That world card. I would say, Laurie, get that world card and put it on your fridge and look at it every day. Or put it on your bedside table, because she is being who she wants to be in the world, and she's unabashed, unashamed. She's naked. She's here. She's present. She's vulnerable. She's open. I am here, world, and there's nothing that you can do that will knock me down. That's your mantra to create what it is that you want. I could use that. That could be my mantra, right? I think for a lot of us. Excuse me, I talk so much that my throat then starts to clear itself. We're gonna, Laurie, I hope that was helpful. Laurie says it would be a lot of work and change of life. Yes, I would love to do that with Sandra. Been thinking of it for a while. Well done. Thank you. Yes, it's something I have felt is a destiny. Absolutely. These cards feel very, very much like they were pointing to you, absolutely opening up into a kind of destiny, meant to be, that Justice card, which is not really ever justice. Justice is such a hard word, and it's, when you hear it in the headlines, it means something different. In the tarot, it means, what we reap what we sow, and it's time for reward. It's time for the reward. You've done the hard work, and we don't need to beat ourselves up anymore. We just don't. It's okay to have a packet of chips. Nothing bad happened. It's getting the motivation to do the work. Yeah. And, sometimes it's like, have you ever tried to unknot a knot? So, you made this knot, and then you're like, oh, damn, I have to undo it. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, man, it's just so hard. But do you ever notice that if you just get one of those threads out, suddenly it just falls apart? And I really feel like that's what it is for you with this thing that's holding you back. Once you go in there and you find it and you pull that thread open, it's like it all kind of loses its power over you. And once you get that, it sticks. And I think that when you're doing it with Sandra or with whoever you choose to do it with, make sure that it's a conscious thing, that you really understand what it is that you've reached in and found, because that conscious knowing and that conscious understanding and that conscious reframe is really important. Because when we reframe from this is holding me back to this is setting me free, oh my God, that's freedom. That's freedom. That's why we do what we do, right? In terms of healing, in terms of energy work, in terms of neuro-linguistic programming, where we look at the subconscious programs and then we flip them into the positive. It's just juicy when you can get a positive program going, right? Yes. Yes. So let's find the star card. Oh, we've kind of lost it. Here it is. The star card number 17, but 1 and 7 make 8, and there are 8 stars, and they're all 8 pointed. So not only do we have the 4 directions, so we know where spirit is, but we have the next 4 directions, right? So we have them in halves as well. So we're being covered. This is a very holistic card. We have all the elements. We have the ether, we have the earth, we have the water, we don't have much fire, but stars are the fire, right? And you see this bird in the background. It's kind of it's an ibis, which is the Egyptian god. And, when you look at this kind of funky tree, it looks like it's been split in two, and this bird is on one side and then the other. So, once you've come to the star card, you've come out of a turbulent time. So if we look at all the cards that come before the star card, literally the one right before is the Tower. Before that, you've had death and the devil. And so it's been a really difficult time before you've gotten to here. And the reason that you've come into the star is you've been stripped naked, literally, right? The Tower is people sleeping, and they've been knocked out of their tower whilst asleep. Well, their clothes have come off and they've dragged themselves to the local pond, and they're now just, washing their wounds and making sure that there's a balance of emotion happening. I'm going to ground my emotions. Water is emotion, right? It also represents psychic, intuitive energy, which is what happens when we're in the moon card and the star card. Very highly intuitive cards, meaning indicating trust your intuition, trust your inner guidance. This water is coming out onto the ground, and there are new sprouts. See these little sprouts, these little leaves that are growing everywhere? So as she is watering the ground, she's creating something new out of all the destruction that's come before, because the Tower is about, removing the ego from the whole picture and just kind of saying, okay, where you were going was not putting you in a good direction, but now we're going to heal all the wounds. And this is the healing. This is the evidence of the healing, all these little plants sprouting out. And of course, you've got the mountain in the background, which is always, to me, represents Shiva. And these, it was a little while back, maybe it was the last December meeting that we had. And someone asked, what's 2021 going to be like? And we got the star card. And this year is COVID is clearly continuing to do what it's doing. And, these vaccines are being rolled out, and people are feeling hopeful that, hey, we're going to get on top of this, maybe, potentially. There's a sense of, well, what we learned last year was that we can't really rely on all the physical things around us, because life is too short. We need to hold true to some kind of spiritual understanding and well-being, because the physical material things are impermanent. They're not going to last forever. Jobs come and go, and clearly people are coming and going, and it's heartbreaking, and there's a lot of struggle and suffering. But if we hold true to spirit, and we keep our eye on the goal, which is communion with God, right? So for me, this card is really about communion with Source, because once we commune with Source, that's where all the healing happens, right? When you go to a healer, that healer is connecting with Source very powerfully, because they just happen to have that makeup. And when we come into their aura, they connect us with our own Source, and therefore put us in that vibrational healing space, and thus we heal, especially when we want it, right? Irina says, I remember you predicted last year that Trump would lose the election. I don't remember, but there you go. Thanks, Irina. Laurie says, good analogy with pulling the thread. Yeah. I think, we often think that there's, a big problem that we need to solve, and that it needs a lot of hard work. Sometimes just pulling one thing out, and that makes me feel good too. It's like, okay, I don't have to work so hard or think so hard about, whatever I think is a problem. Maybe there's a very easy solution to a challenge or a problem. And it's just the way that I'm thinking about it. So keep your eye on your inner teacher. Keep your eye on Source. Keep your vibration very close to Source, and all healing will happen. That's what this card promises. That's what this card promises. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful card. And it really does mean that whenever it turns up in a reading, it always means one of those things: healing, It's a very quiet internal space. It's a connecting with source. It's a balancing of all the elements. And, when there's an open starry sky, it's just magical. There's also a lot of magic in this card. Truly a magical card where anything is possible. Miracles happen. Miracles happen in this card. We need to learn to balance. Yes, Laurie, amen. So we've gone over a little bit of time and my voice has gone hoarse. I want to thank everybody so much for coming on tonight. Thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you to everyone who's donated. We have our new charity, the Wild Bird Fund. That's where 30% of the proceeds are going tonight. And next week, $10, your 10 full dollars, Shelley, will go with your pay it forward reading. Will go to the Wild Bird Fund. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for coming. And, we have a free 30-minute reading just before you go. Rebecca, thank you. You're amazing. If you're still here, give me a number between 1 and 10. I've got the number in my head. I want to give away a free 30-minute reading with me. And you know what? We can actually do, in 30 minutes, we could do a kind of 6-month prediction because I've been doing the 12-month year ahead readings. And I found that, they last a good hour, but, in half an hour, we could probably do 6 months. So this is like a free 6-month ahead reading. We could do that. Or if you had questions, we could do that. So if anybody has a number, put your number in. Pump, pump, pump. I've got a number in my head. I'm going to write it down to make sure that you know. Anyone else? Most people have gone. Anybody watching? Listening? Put in a number. Come on, you can gift it to a friend. Oh, here they come. Awesome. Linda Mitley, it's a number between 1 and 10. I love that. This is 46. Maybe it was 4 and 6. I do love that number, though. Actually, while we're waiting, do I have a book to do some bibliomancy? Oh, the Mahabharata. Look at this big book with the Bhagavad Gita. Let's look at page 46. There's got to be a good reason that you yelled out that number. Okay. Here we go. The Path of Renunciation, Sankhya, brings eternal tranquility at the after effect poise of Kriya, and practicing Kriya, yoga, brings the same. So both renunciation and yoga. So this must have been at the point where Krishna was talking to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita and talking to him about which path to take in life. So here we have yoga and renunciation, and that both are one and the same. So if you were to practice Kriya Yoga or you were to renounce the sort of worldly desires and your interest in the senses and gaining all these kind of material wealth and stuff, that it would be the same as practicing some very high spiritual practices. There you go, Linda Mitley. That was for you from the Mahabharata. A very special book that I once picked up because my friend Elka Boren introduced me to it. There you go. Okay, we have a lucky winner. Irina, number 7. Congratulations, Irina. You have a reading. You let me know what you want to do. You can find me on my email, georgiamarantos@gmail.com, georgiamarantos.com. I'm on Facebook, and Instagram. So please message me through any of those. And if you want a reading, you are lucky today. Oh, and I'm lucky too. I adore you, Irina. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye. Have a great weekend. See you.